Hey guys, men's dating coach HarryWilmington here, founder of IntrovertDatingSuccess.com. And today we're going to be responding to a comment that was left to one of my previous videos, whereby he touched on a comment that I made in that video about how filmmakers and songwriters help to further perpetrate the various ideas of creepy romantic love. And I want to kind of go more into what exactly is that Hollywood does to really give you guys a false sense of what to do during the dating process. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of when I post up new videos. So like I said, I did a video, it was called The Difference Between Romantic versus Creepy Acts of Love. And in that video, I was responding to a message that somebody left on Reddit about how they reconnected with the woman and they had set up a date to see her in the near future, but it was her birthday and he decided to do the thing of looking up her address online and trying to send her stuff with a note attached that wasn't signed with his name and stuff on it. And I pointed out that as an example of creepy behavior, and that's an activity that you might see in the movies whereby a guy's pining after a woman and he's like, what should I do to try to impress her? And then he does stuff exactly like that. Only in the movies, those kind of actions are rewarded. But in real life, women get creeped out by it. They think, what's going on? Is this some guy stalking me? It's like all these safety things that just ring alarms off in a woman's head that don't actually make her feel more attracted. So somebody commented on that video, and I'm gonna read that comment to you now and then kind of go into more in-depth thoughts about why it is that Hollywood does this and what you need to be actually doing as a guy to really build up interest in women, okay? He said, I'm glad you touched on the way filmmakers perpetrate these romantic tropes. I used to do these things as well until I went to film school and studied screenwriting. Then I realized everything that happens in books, movies, and TV is all about telling an enticing story and has no basis in reality. And usually great stories aren't written by sexually empowered men that deal with lots of women. So I want to address a few of the points that he made, okay? So for starters, yeah, I also was a theater major when I went to college. So I spent 4 or 5 years basically doing screenwriting, writing for plays, learning how to structure plot points. And one of the things that they teach in those classes is this whole thing of suspending belief, meaning that whatever you present to the audience, they're going on this journey with you and they're going to be willing to put their minds to the side about the way life actually works to believe in the reality of whatever journey you're going to take them on. And unfortunately, because the mind is not so great at being able to decipher between what is real and what isn't, then this is why when you watch TV shows or movies, even though you can, in your mind, say, this is a fake thing that's happening in front of me, these people are playing characters, these aren't real settings, these aren't real events that are happening, you can still be emotionally affected by what's going on in front of you because the mind, feelings-wise, can't tell the difference. So now take that concept and look at what Hollywood's done, whereby they present things on screen that aren't real, but to your mind feel real. And one of the things that's happening is you are seeing examples of relationships, of hookups, of get-togethers, of journeys of people going from being strangers and not knowing each other, or a kid being that nerdy kid in class who's pining for the really hot woman, but he doesn't know how to get her with his nerdy ways. But by the end of the movie, they're together. And he's doing a lot of what we'll say is beta acting, non-masculine acting things in order to get these women, and it's working. And your brain is looking at this and thinking, oh, so that's how it's done. That is how I get a woman. I do these beta things. I pine after her. I write poems to her. I try to be around her every single day. We become friends. And then somehow through osmosis, she's going to realize, wait, I hang out with him all the time. I must be in love. And rarely does it work like that. But because that's what is perpetrated on screen on a regular basis, your idea about how to get women can be warped, skewed, and ultimately not right at all. Now, what's interesting is I actually read a whole book called No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, which you can get at IntrovertDatingSuccess.com. And in that book, it's a book that is basically encouraging you how to lose a woman. But in that book, I say the best way to lose women is by doing these various things, and here's why. This is why complimenting her all the time is going to actually help you lose a woman. This is why being the nice guy is going to help you lose a woman. This is why not talking about sex is going to help you lose a woman, and a bunch of other various things. So it's a very funny style book in terms of the tone of it, but it's based on, in part, all these things that I was doing that was based on this stuff, that was based on what Hollywood was telling me to do, about all these things that I saw other guys doing in movies that seemed to work. And when I tried them, they weren't working. But the funny thing is, even though it wasn't working for me, I still couldn't pinpoint why. Because I'm thinking, but all these guys I'm seeing on screen are doing this stuff and getting women. Therefore, it should work. It's not, but I don't know the correlation. And it wasn't until I started really opening up what that was all about and why that was, I was like, oh, okay, so they're trying to make money for one. And also, most movie audiences, at least in terms of like the various romantic comedies, stuff like that, is geared towards women. And so for women, Hollywood's trying to create these fantasies of how people should be and what they should like in order to want to get a man. So for a woman watching a romantic comedy, for example, she should want the nice guy. She should want the guy that's treating her well, that's complimenting her all the time, that's trying to push her to get that promotion or is really good with kids or whatever. And so women can see this on screen and say, oh, I want these people to get together. I want this guy I want for this woman to be able to get this guy because it's what she deserves, because this guy is treating her how I would want to be treated. At least that's what she's thinking, okay? And they're seeing it play out in real time, and then they're seeing it and it's working. It's like, oh, that's such a nice story. It's so heartwarming. They got together. Yay. But when you do these actions to an actual woman in actual real life, what typically happens? The behavior comes off as needy. It comes off as too forced. It becomes off to them as fake, like, what are you doing? And part of the reason it comes off as fake is because they're watching it in a movie and realizing that even though it looks good and it feels good and it plays well for the story, there's a level of imagination to that that's happening. So that can't be how guys are in real life. This shouldn't be the things I actually want, because this woman's going after this nice beta guy with glasses on, and I'm screwing this guy that's got a bunch of tattoos and is muscular and never calls me back. So understand the reality of what women actually fall for and what women are falling for on screen are drastically different. But why is that? That goes to his other point where he points out that these stories aren't written by sexually empowered men that deal with lots of women. And so if you look at the screenwriters in Hollywood, the majority of them look like guys that could not get the hottest woman in the world ever if to save her life. Like, they just don't. And that's not saying that that's not true. It's not saying that guys that are writing these things can't get women, but it is saying that it feels like most of them were probably not the guys in high school that were winning all these women and have these great ideals about what kind of women would get them and how the stuff that they're doing should work. And so they get to write stuff in Hollywood, and they get to now write out these stories about these nerdy guys or these, oafish guys that are overweight, that are fans of Star Wars and all this other nerdy stuff that still somehow managed to score the very, very hot chick because it didn't happen to them in high school, but they can make it happen on screen. Or you have songwriters that, write these flowery things about, oh, ever since I saw you, I just always knew you were going to be mine, and, I'll do whatever you want me to do. But again, what's their audience? It's women. So yeah, women have fantasies of being able to tell a guy what to do, but that doesn't mean they want to actually do that. Women have fantasies of, yeah, he's writing me all this kind of poetry and he's complimenting me all the time and he's just, always putting me on a pedestal and thinking so highly of me. But that's a lot of work, and women in real life don't actually want to experience that. So you have to understand that Hollywood, music, movies, television shows, they are designed to sell you and to sell women a fantasy idea of what a man is and what should work. On the men's side of things, they're writing stuff that says like these beta actions should be able to get women. On the women's side of things, they're writing things like, these buff guys that have all this money in the world are going to come after me and swoop me off my feet, even though most women aren't going to get guys that are like that. But then what happens is, guys will see this on screen, like think of something like 50 Shades of Grey. Billionaire dude and this lonely schoolgirl get together and he sweeps her off her feet despite how abusive he actually is in the movie, okay? So guys will see this and say, oh, see, that's the kind of guy that women want. That's why I'm not successful. Most women just want a guy that's going to treat them well, take them out to dinner, give them good sex, and is going to listen to their about their day, about what's bugging them, and be an equal partner and being able to help build up the household and take care of the kids. That's not really a whole lot, but because of what we're sold on screen, we're thinking they want these high-powered dudes or whatever, and that's not always the case. Not to say women would not go for a guy with a lot of money, but I'm saying that's not the overwhelming majority of women, but we're fed into that lie, okay? And that's just as bad of a lie as the one thinking that we can act all beta and get women also, because you can't, okay? So again, they're selling you a fantasy. What you need to do as a guy is recognize, hey, that looks great on screen. It sounds great in the song. I'll play it when I'm, banging the girl's brains out or whatever. But these are not actual actions or blueprints that I need to be using in order to get women. Now, if you want the actual blueprint on how to get women, I got a program at my website called Introvert Dating Success that walks you A through Z on how to meet, greet, attract, date, and ultimately land the woman of your dreams in a real, authentic way that caters to your introverted nature. If you want to learn about that, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. Go there, check out that program. Check out my smart digital dating program. Check out my eBooks. Check out my free stuff. I got some free webinars there. I got some free handouts there, some PDFs, but it's all designed to give you actual steps because I didn't have that blueprint early on. I had to learn it. And then once I was able to learn it, I was able to put it into a form that could explain it to other guys so they won't have to struggle through the fakeness that Hollywood and music, songs and stuff at large are selling you, because your brain's going to believe it. And it's going to be very disappointed when it doesn't come true because it's not meant to be actual truth. You want actual truth? Go to the website and get yourself educated on what actually works. Thank you for watching this episode of the Introvert Dating Success Show. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode and catch new episodes right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out these other episodes so you too can learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.